Hello everyone and welcome. The Kalita Wave is a wonderfully designed device for pour-over coffee. It comes in many different materials, including stainless steel, glass, ceramic, and copper. And while the brewing techniques are often similar to other brewing devices like the V60, there are many distinct and important differences in the way that this is made, which affects the final cup. So let's talk about those design choices, and then we can go through some best practice brewing techniques. So the Wave is a flat bottom dripper. The filter fits flat at the base, and the coffee spreads itself out evenly, leading to the same depth of coffee at any point in the coffee bed. This can be helpful for a couple of reasons. For one, the coffee may be saturated fairly evenly and quickly when the water hits it. And two, it means that when you pour the water, you can just focus on consistent, steady circles. More complicated brewers that have different levels of density in the coffee bed might need more focus when pouring, and you might need to pour on those more dense areas more often, but that's not the case with the Kalita Wave. The next feature of this brewer is how they have the holes at the bottom. As you can see, there are 3 distinct holes for the coffee to drip out of. The filter doesn't sit directly on the holes, at least it's not supposed to, and the reason I actually got the glass version is because I'd heard that the stainless steel had some more issues with clogging, where the filter would actually cover the holes and slow the whole process down. When it functions normally, the coffee drips through the filter and out through the 3 holes. It's worth noting though that with the flat bottom design and the 3 small holes instead of 1 larger hole, the flow of coffee can often be restricted, and this can lead to longer brew times and potentially over-extraction. You'll want to grind slightly more coarse to compensate for this when compared to something like a cone dripper. Probably the last thing to talk about here is the filters themselves. The shape resembles their name, in a wavy form. On one hand, this provides some rigidity to the filters, so when you wet them with water, they don't flop over or lose their shape. But something that's also very interesting about the filters is that because they push away from the sides, you lose less heat. You'd normally have to worry about heat escaping by absorbing into the material and escaping from the coffee. But with the Wave style, it seems to have less issues, and the temperature of your water can be more consistent and repeatable for every brew. So because of all these things, the Kalita Wave is often praised as a more hands-off brewer, something a little more relaxed. You can pay a little less attention to exactly how you're pouring the water, the holes kind of automate the dripping speed, and it just has a more overall feeling of a classic coffee pot style. I've personally been using this for the past 2 weeks for every morning coffee, and I've very much enjoyed every single cup. I found that despite some variance in my technique here and there, the quality stayed quite consistent. But let's talk about technique for a second. Is it really that different from what you'd expect on a pour-over? Let's run through the steps that I've used to get good results. First, I get my water going up to a boil. Then I thoroughly rinse the paper filter. You can pour directly on the wavy edges, and it's oddly satisfying. I use 22 grams of coffee to start, and I add 40 to 50 grams of water. Let it sit for about 45 seconds to bloom. This is where CO2 gases are escaping from the coffee, and it's important so that your next dose of water can be more effective in extracting the flavor and aroma that we want. Then I will basically do 2 more pours. The amounts don't quite matter in my mind, but I keep them somewhat even. This first pour will bring us to 220 grams. I'll leave the water to almost drain before adding the second pour up to 374 grams. This is a 1:17 ratio, but feel free to find your preference as it may lie between 1:16 and 1:17 for most people. Let it all fully drain and you're done. Overall, I think there is a lot to love about the Kalita Wave, and I hope that you found this video helpful in some way. If you own one, how do you find it? I want to hear from you in the comments below, and if you haven't subscribed already, please do so. I will see you all in the next video. Have a great day.